Right, Q&A it's Dodododoyobi. Today is September 7th, 2024, here in Pacifica, California. 12 miles south of San Francisco. It's 55 to 64. That's 13 to 18 degrees Celsius. There's a bunch of stuff I have to do preparing for the winter. One of the things that I do is go through the tubs and observe what I have, so I know which bins and tubs I need to put them, relocate them to, because the winter season is coming. The fall is like right around the block, and I think like right now this is a tail end of the Medaka season outdoors, especially here in Pacifica, California. It's pretty. Let me just take a real quick sip. But before I do that, for all you Medaka heads that joined, man, I just cannot appreciate you enough. By the way, if you join, or as a member, what I'm going to do is at the end of the month in September, this is the last bag that I have. I imported a few cases, and people seem to love them. And this is the last pack. This is a growth version of the Gex Ayahime. This will go to a random raffle Medaka head member out there. I don't know. I think this whole YouTube member thing is not something that a lot of people are like. I didn't even know until I was looking into it, or I became a member of some other site and whatnot. But you basically click the join button next to the subscription button. You could only do it from the computer. You can't do it on your iPhone app. It's kind of weird. But you hit that, and then it's a small donation. It's like a monthly thing. And once you enroll, I will, at the end of the month, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw the names in a bag, and then I'm just going to pick a name, and then I will ship it out to one of all you. And the other thing that I added is this over here. I had was it Fox Saki-san? I forgot, but somebody said you should make stickers, so I did. My first attempt at making stickers. It's basically the logo just as a Medaka head, and this is what it looks like. So all you members, as long as you provide me with your ship to address, this will be sent to you as a domo arigato from my for the MedakaMetal to you. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. Let me just take a real quick sip. Man, oh boy. The best beer of the day goes out to Fire Harp Son, Nico Fish Son, and Mr. Space Andy Space Yo Son. All Medaka Hen members. Oh boy. That was good. So going back to what I was talking about, I go through all these little containers that I have over here. They've been separated. I like to, like, I don't know. I'm just a hoarder of these like tiny containers, and a lot of it is it keeps them separated, and offspring style. Just keep them separated now. But at the same time, I could see how they do in certain container sizes. I have various container sizes over here, different different variations, and I attempt to document their growth, how they're doing, if they're surviving, if I see any ones that I lose. I look at their growth rate and all that stuff. So that's what I do during the summer, warmer seasons. And now that summer Medaka season is coming to an end, what I do is now I look at them from the side, viewing them from the side. So these boys and girls were with these boys and girls. But they're darumas, right? Darumas are shorties. Can I zoom into any? Here. See? Basically, they're missing some vertebrae, or it's just that their spine is just shortened. There's two different variations. They really do not do well in cold temperatures, so you got to watch out. Like these, these cuties will not do well outdoors. The reason being, all right, so medakas, right? They're stomachache fish. They need at least a temperature to be about 50 degrees Fahrenheit for them to even be able to digest the food, because what goes in goes straight out in about 2 hours. So what they do during the cooler months, they really rely on just what they could find, these microscopic phytonutrients, which is pretty much green water, right? Whatever that's in the water outdoors. And they'll just slowly consume. And the way they survive is they don't move. So they're taking in some things, but at the same time, they're not exerting their energy because they're not moving, they're staying still. So the problem with these shorties, these darumas, is that for them to stay at float, balanced, they have to constantly move their fins, all right? If they don't, they're going to float or they're going to sink. What does that mean? Without the eating, they're still using up their energy, and what happens is they pass away. Basically, they're not getting enough calories for them to continue to move. So that is the reason why these darumas do not do well in cooler temperatures, because they're constantly moving around just so that they could float. And just the winter seasons, man, it just doesn't work for them. So if you do want to keep these, if you do find some in your batch, you might want to bring them indoors in the garage or something like that, knowing that they're going to constantly have to move around to just keep up float balance. If you don't, most of them will pass away during the winter. But again, just like going through a tub, I'll just find these random jewels. I love these little babies. They just look fantastic and awesome. I'm just going to use this as an example because I just see, all right, even with the daruma, do you see the one on top? The very top. Look at the tail fin. It's closed, right? Compared to, let's say, this one, the tail fin's pretty much open. These two have tail fins that are open. But you can see this one over here. The tail fin is kind of closed, like a fan. You know how a fan kind of like a Japanese fan opens up and closes, right? It looks like it's closed. That's an indication that this one is not doing well. So whenever you see medakas with closed fins, if you are giving it to somebody or selling it to somebody, make sure you do not, right? You leave those out. If you're purchasing, look at the fins. If you have any closed fins, it's called tojihide. If you have any tojihides, make sure you don't purchase those because they're stressed. There's something wrong with them. They'll probably, it's not that they're going to be bad. They'll come back, but it's certainly something you do not want to sell or give away or purchase. This is a batch that I brought from indoors. They were born indoors. These are the orange-looking ones are Redcliffs. That light one in the center, and then the dark one. They're basically the metal riffs, right? Like the parents that I crossbred from the Midnight Frill Lame and then the Redcliffe. Oh boy. Oh, I got to catch up on taking the sip, but I do. Oh boy. So the past few days, I was kind of thinking per member, I would take a swig just because I only had like 4 members and it was easy. It's like, this goes out to Domo arigato, Foxsake-san. Medaka head member. Oh boy, look at that red ram's horn. That one is actually really red. Let's take another toast to Lindsay's Tank-san. Domo arigato. Nino Franklin's son. Domo arigato. So that's 3. Rocky's garage son that actually sent me a beer donation. On top of being a member, he sent me a beer donation. So this one goes out to you, Rocky's garage son. And H's son, another Medaka head that actually sent me another donation, a beer fund donation. Domo arigato. And as you can see, the list was short, but now there's more. I got to figure out a way how to not take too many swigs, because all I'm going to be doing is taking swigs. So these boys and girls, they're about 3 months old, born indoors. F1s for the metal riffs, and then my F2s, metal riffs, and then Gen 2s for the Red Cliffs. I don't know if you can see me, maybe share from the top. I just randomly scooped up a few from the tub that I have over here. And what I have here in this tub is basically all the ones that were born and raised indoors. I brought out here about 2 weeks ago to see if they would survive. Biggest challenge is when you bring them outdoors, like indoors, it's constant, right? If you set it at 78 degrees, like 23 degrees Celsius, it's going to be that temperature. There's no temperature fluctuation. But now you bring them outdoors, regardless, summer or not. At night it's chilly, and at day the temperature rises. So they're really, Medakas are tough, but the temperature fluctuation really, really stresses them out. And they won't die right away, but chances are about in 2 weeks, the weaker ones will pass. And it's been 2 weeks now since I brought them out, and they're doing great. And right now, 10 minutes ago when I scooped these out randomly, like, look at this one. This one is only 2.5 months, and she has eggs. The power of the sun, man. It just does something. Like, and I'm just noticing, but look at this one. This one is a rock and roll frill. Metal riff. Sorry. Rock and roll frill. Maybe that's the name for a future, but metal riff. This one has eggs too. So at this age, 10 weeks old, man, here's something else that I'm noticing on this one over here. It's a red cliff. This one's probably closer to 11 weeks, just because they were born sooner. Look how ugly. Stay still for me. Look at the head. The shape of the head looks like a helmet, right? That's a female, but the head looks like it's wearing a helmet. So she's wearing a helmet. So this is something that I would never use as a parent, right? The backs on all of these seem like they're pretty much straight. The gills look fine. They're not open. The tails look open, but just the shape of the head. So in the future, I will never use that girl for my breeding pair or trio and all that. So there's a lot of things that you could see. This other one, it's all right looking. But again, for the red cliffs, you want the Taigaiko body with the red head, right? So these are more like Yokihi, where it's kind of pretty much orange. But you do have the wide fins, and then you have the emerald green fins, right? Tip of the fins. I don't know if I have an example right now that I could show right away, but like here's basically, they came from here. Let me see if I could, yeah, see? The red cliffs are supposed to look like this, right? You have the tuncho head, which is the orange, and then you have the body with the taigaiko running on the back. This is an example of the one where it has no tancho, where there's no orange. But this is what you're going to get, you know. You get red cliff parents, and they're going to shoot out a bunch of different ones. So at the end of the day, you're just going to have to pick and choose which ones you want to end up using. Christian Aquino-san, let me just take a real quick sip, man. Another Medaka Head member. Mr. Golden Arms' son. Just take another real quick sip. Let me scoot over here. Here's they are about, like, I think they're 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks old. They are the basically the metal riffs. I basically brought the eggs out of here and dumped them in this IKEA tub. These IKEA Torofast tubs are pretty awesome. The sun, with the sun and all that. This is like their third season outdoors, and it's still holding up. It's not breaking, all that. So these babies are about 2 weeks old. And I think because I tapped, it kind of went away. But basically that's what these are. They're just like hariko, which is fry. Where'd they go? But, oh, there. So they're growing with the power of the sun. And all these have hariko as well. I've been bringing out, like, what do you call it? I've been bringing out eggs. I'm just putting them in there. And just letting them grow. Because I should talk about this later, but in a different upload. But if you can't get them to be around this size, 2/3 of an inch, right? These are in centimeters. 1, 2, 3. 1 inch is about like here, 2.5. If you can't get them up to 2/3 of an inch, there's a huge chance that they're not going to survive the winter temperatures outdoors. So it gets you thinking, like, when do you stop collecting eggs and all that? So my goal is to try to get the fry out that I have out here, the hariko, to close to this size before winter really hits. So I only have probably less than 2 months left here in Pacifica. So later on, I will continue to, you'll see eggs, but are they going to make it outdoors? Because if it gets too cold, they're not going to grow. If they're not going to grow, what's going to happen? It's either they're going to perish during the winter, or even the strong ones that live, they're just, they're supposed to grow, but they can't because they're not eating because it's cold, and it's just going to stunt them, meaning they're just going to stay tiny for the rest of their lives. So they're just never going to reach their maturity, per se. So you really have to decide when do you just kind of say, yeah, kind of like, all right, I'm done for the season. They may be still laying eggs, but yeah, you're not really going to be collecting them or taking care of them unless you decide to bring them indoors in a heated environment so that they could grow. And then maybe spring, you bring them outdoors once it's starts getting warmer and all that. So right now, turn of the seasons. So now we're going into fall, right? Summer to fall. And then when you come out of that, you're going to have winter to spring. Those are the two periods where they are most delicate because they are trying to adjust with, right? You don't get the time of light that you get, right? Diminishes or increases, and then the temperature fluctuates a lot. So that is when the medakas are they are at the most stress level. When the stress level has reached the tip of the hill, I guess, right? They're at the max. They're maxed out, man. Maxed out in stress. Take another real quick sip. Domo arigato, Lauren Marshall, son. I think Lauren Marshall is in the Bay Area, up north. Domo arigato. I didn't really have anything to really concentrate talking about, so I know I'm rambling on. I'm just doing this while I'm doing some sortation and looking at medakas. So hopefully, I know it's long. It's probably not fun, but maybe there's something. This tub over here, I don't know if you can recall, but I brought out two of the larger ones born in October of 2023. And when it gets to a certain size, and when all they know is indoors, and when you bring them outdoors, they have a really tough time adjusting. A lot of them will pass. So these two I brought out 2 weeks ago. All they know is indoors. These were the F1s. And they're alive. They've been in this black bucket this whole time. I did one water change. Let me see if I could even see where they are. But I know they're alive. Oh, here. And these I brought out because they have bent backs. I wanted to make sure that they weren't breeding with the other ones. So this one's, again, a metal riff, kind of like yellowhead. This one has a wide fin, but as you can see the bent back, right? And this little baby girl. So again, from the top, you need to see if they have any physical deformities, and at the same time, you want to look at them from the side to see if they're bent in other ways. For females that have been giving a lot of eggs, their backs will bend, but that's not a physical deformity. It's just because their stomachs grow, and it just looks like that their backs are bending, but it's not a genetic defect. Let me see this one. Same thing. This one is a metal riff, a little darker, but bent back as well. You can see from the top, it looks like an S shape, right? But one of my forever babies. So they're surviving. Their fins have grown a lot, I think. I think it's because of the sun. But yeah, that's what that bucket is. When winter comes, all of these are going to end up in larger containers, larger tubs. There are less temperature fluctuation changes. If it's too cold, they'll go to the bottom. If it gets kind of toasty, they'll come to the top. And obviously, you're not doing water changes during the winter season, so the water volume rules, man. So, all right. Let me just take another quick one. Niels Hansen, son. Domo arigato. Medaka member. Nicole RZ. Nicole RZ. Domo arigato. And the newest member of the Medaka Head chapter over here in Pacifica, California, Mr. Ten, son, a local buddy. Domo arigato. All right, so I'm out of beer. We'll do it again next time. So for all you Medaka heads out there that joined, that I think there's about like a 40% of all. I still don't have your address, so give me your address. DM me on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, just contact me via YouTube, and we'll figure out a way so that you can privately provide me with your address. So I could send this little ugly thing. But it's all kind of fun and games, and if you're not a member, if you don't want to become a member, there's a lot of reasons why. Like, I was hesitant to become a member or join another YouTube channel. Just hit me up, DM me, Instagram. It's just beer. Somebody was saying, so how much is it? It's like, I'm not selling these. Just send me a beer donation. I'll give you the information via PayPal or Zelle. And they're like, so how much? It's like, it's a donation. It's just whatever it's worth. Doesn't really matter. So just talking with all you boys and girls and gals and men make me happy. So, all right, cool. We'll do it again next time. Happy Saturday. I have to continue to go through these tubs to observe all these little beauties. So, right. MedakaMetal on Instagram is where I could be found or contacted. We'll do it again next time. All right, out.